What's up, guys? So today I'm going to do a quick video talking about Instagram. So one of the most common questions I get or messages that I get is people asking me how I build followers on Instagram. And I'm not doing anything special. I'm basically just spending a lot of time on Instagram. What I always tell them is like Instagram is a third job to me. Now, when I first started out, basically I just want to run through some facts. So I very first opened my Instagram in April 25th of 2017, and it was private at that time. I didn't really have many posts on there. Basically what was happening at this time was I had just purchased the land. My wife and I had just purchased land in Hawaii the month before, and right around that same time is when I saw Neil Kamimura on Forged in Fire, and I decided I'm going to learn how to blacksmith and I'm going to learn how to make knives. So I opened the Instagram page. The Hawaiian Viking is the name I came up with. Basically that's a mix of my love for the island of Hawaii. I've been going there for 25 years, I think. I was married before. My first wife was actually from Hilo, so I have family there. You know, we had kids and everything. Since then, I've been remarried and, you know, going to be going back to Hawaii. So I first started my Instagram page on April 25th, 2017 was my first opening the page. So my first public post wasn't until October 6th of 2017, and it was when I was forging my very first knife with another local blacksmith here. He was teaching me how to forge knives. Up to that point I had only done just artistic blacksmithing stuff. So I designed and drew out my logo on November 19th of 2017, and then the month of November was pretty big because I was getting a lot of my tools. That's when I first got my 2x72 grinder. That's when I first got my anvil. I had some money that I had set aside in my savings, and pretty much I used all of that to buy a 2x72, to buy my anvil, to buy a few little hand tools. Anybody that does blacksmithing, you know, like there's all these little things that you don't think about, you know, like this, you know, buying a surface plate, like, you know, clamps, like there's so many little things that you need to buy to do knife making, and you don't have to have any of it. I mean, you can really go super basic and just have a vise and a file, you know, to start. But anyway, November was when I was getting a lot of my tools, and I had been posting a lot of stuff in that time about classes I was taking, stuff I was making, tools I was acquiring. So November 29th of 2017 is when I hit 500 followers. Now, in the very beginning when I got Instagram, I know a lot of people were complaining about how the algorithm changed in Instagram, so it made it way more difficult to acquire followers or whatever. I didn't know any of that before or after or during, you know, doing it, so none of that really mattered to me. What I did for me to build followers in the beginning is I went through all the hashtags that I use. So blacksmithing, blacksmith, anvil, hammer, forging, hand forged, forged in fire. So what I would do is I would spend hours every day, and I'd go through all of these hashtags, and I would just like every single post, every single post, every single post. And like I said, anytime I had a spare 10 minutes throughout the day, I'd be on there liking. And a lot of times I didn't even look at the posts, and somebody sending me a message. I was just scrolling through, liking everything as much as I can. I would do probably 3,000 to 4,000 likes per day. Now what this did was it kind of got me out there into the knife making community, got me known, and I got a lot of other knife makers, a lot of beginner knife makers, some more veteran knife makers started following me. And this is really great because you kind of get to know the community, and it's not a big community by any means. I mean, how many knife makers are out there, How many, like me personally, I think I know 5 or 6, like personally, like that I've spoken to in real life. I mean, there's dozens and dozens more, on Instagram. I've had conversations with people all over the world, blacksmiths and knife makers, that message me, ask me questions. And anybody that's ever talked to me, I'm like very free about information that I have learned or information that I've found. I like sharing all of that because that's the whole point of this. This is like a dying art, blacksmithing is. So anything that I can do to help promote that or to spur someone's interest in it, then that's something that I'm going to be in, or something I'm going to be doing. So I would basically just go through and, like I said, spend hours and hours and hours. Now, as my follower count started climbing, I did this less and less. So I'm to the point now, actually just yesterday, I think I hit 3,000 followers. And to give you the timeline, it's been basically not even a year since my very first public post was in October of 2017. So back to my little list here. November 29th, 2017, I hit 500 followers. I sold my very first knife January 5th of 2018, and to me it was a failure. I went a little too aggro on the heat treat, and I had pre-ground my blade too thin, so it ended up burning away a lot of the blades. I'll do an insert of the picture somewhere. It was basically one of my Pua skinners, one of the very first ones that I did, and I was super frustrated with it, and because I put all the work into the handle, and the blade was just, it was burnt. But I threw it up on Instagram, and somebody offered me $50 for it. So that was my very first knife that I sold. That was January 5th of 2018. January 7th of 2018 is when I hit 1,000 followers. This one was pretty important because I did a giveaway, which at that time was one of my, was this model right here. This is the one that I'm working on right now. This is what I call my camp chef. So I was working on making, I think I had 3 of these that I was working on building at the time. And so for my very first one, that's what I was going to give away for my 1,000 follower giveaway. And I just did a regular giveaway contest, basically have a repost. I'm sure any of you that are watching this video probably were involved in it. That repost was really important to me because of the reposts and the tagging friends, I ended up gaining close to 300 followers in like that 3 to 4 day period around the time that I was doing that GAW. And that was a pretty big deal because to gain that many followers in a relatively short amount of time, that was huge. And that's basically what kind of turned on the light bulb for me that you need to, like, Instagram is a really good tool for business if you use it properly. So my thing is I follow some general rules. I only post once a day. I don't, I see some of these guys on Instagram, and I've actually stopped following people because they'll do 10, 15, sometimes more posts a day. And it's, like, to me, it just floods my feed, and I try to be very responsive to people. Anybody that I follow, I try to like all their posts that I can. But people that will post, they'll have a knife that they made or whatever, and I'm not bashing on knife makers, but they'll post one picture of the knife. Cool. Like, then 10 minutes later, they'll post another picture, separate post, same knife. 20 minutes later, they'll post the same knife again. Third post, same knife. And they'll do that, and to me, that's just, maybe they're not familiar with Instagram, or they're really proud of their knife. I understand that. I'm proud of the knives that I make. But you can put 10 pictures on one post. You can put 10 videos on one post. It doesn't benefit, I mean, I don't know any logistics behind the algorithms and how they run. But for me, posting one time a day, and I try to do it the same time every morning when I first wake up or when I first get to work, I do my post. And that's it. I do one post a day. Very rare occasions I've done 2 posts in a day, but it was usually something that happened or responding to someone or something like that. I do 1 post a day. I try to post every single day, at least something. And so I do that 1 post a day every single day. And then that's what I do. And then I go through and I do all the likes on all the hashtags. By May 4th, 2018, I had hit 2,000 followers. So this was only really, I only really started making knives in like January to February is when I really started kind of actually spending a little time and making knives. But I still had not, I had barely sold any. I think by February, the end of February, I may have sold 3 knives at that point. But even now, I think I just hit 30 knives, so I'm still really new at this. And I appreciate everyone's comments, and I'm thankful and grateful for all that. People really like my knives, and it just blows me away, that I make something that somebody really wants, somebody's willing to pay money for. And I'm not doing this to try to get rich or anything like that, because it's not really a get rich fast thing. And anybody that makes knives knows this. Everyone loves your knives. Very few people will buy your knives. Another knife maker in Hawaii told me, if you want to be $1 million knife maker, start with $2 million and then you'll probably do okay. Which was told to him by another knife maker. But anyway, back on topic with the Instagram. So I still continue to do hashtag likes, go through. It's great doing all the hashtags that I use, that I post. You get a lot of fellow knife makers, a lot of people that sell knives, posts, and that's awesome because you get involved in the knife making community. But you want your followers to not be in the knife making community, because some knife makers do buy knives from other knife makers. It doesn't happen a lot. I don't buy knives from other knife makers simply because I don't have the money to. I would love to support other knife makers to buy their knives, and I know some guys do, and I think that's awesome. Just me personally, like any money that I make from knives, I put back into materials, tooling, supplies. Okay, so my battery just died on my camera, so sorry for that. Alright, so as I was saying, all the money that I make from knives, from Instagram, I don't make money from Instagram, but by gaining followers. So I can't afford to buy knives from other makers. Someday I will, hopefully I'll be in a better financial situation down the road, and I'll gladly do that. So my point is, as far as the followers on Instagram, like having a lot of fellow knife makers as followers is cool. You get to meet a lot of cool people, you get to have a lot of good conversations, share information, but your real goal on Instagram is to get followers who are not in the knife making community, because those are the people that are really going to buy your knives. So you have to start using other hashtags. So around the time that I hit 1,000 followers, or actually closer to 2,000 followers, I started branching out. So then I started hitting other hashtags. I would hit camping hashtags, I'd hit off-grid hashtags, bushcraft hashtags, any fishing hashtags, hunting hashtags, anything that someone may use a knife for, anything that would have to do with a hashtag like that, I would start hitting those. So I would basically go through, and anything that I saw, and I was a little bit more selective on these because I didn't want to just go through and someone's like My Little Pony tent on a camping hashtag or something like that. So I would be more selective on these, but I would go through all these hashtags and I would do same thing, just multiple likes throughout the day. And that helped get me up to where I am today, which today is August 17th. So I hit 3,000 followers yesterday. So August 16th is when I hit 3,000 followers. I'm at a point now where I typically gain maybe about 5 followers every day. It goes up and down. It's very like cyclic. And I know a lot of them are bots. You can always tell. Like, I thought Instagram was going to be wiping out bots, but there's still so many of them out there where they leave some stupid ass comment on your post. I really love your work, or this is a great photograph. Check out my page. Like stupid shit like that. It's a bot. And even they have bots that will just like stuff. They have bots that will follow people, and then 2 days later they unfollow you. So your numbers will, even if you're a small account, it's more noticeable than if you're a bigger account. But your numbers will always go up and down. So mine fluctuate. Like, I've gone up 20 followers in a day, and then I've gone down 25 followers the next day. It's really weird if you really follow it closely. And then there's other tools in there. If you have a business Instagram account, there's a lot of insights in there that give you people that click on your posts, and you can actually see how many people view your posts as opposed to people that like the posts. So some of my posts, even like the more popular ones, it was viewed, 3,000 times, but it was only liked, 250 times. So stuff like that, if you want to check it out, it's in there. It's available on Instagram if you have a business account. So
another thing that helped me, or I think is helping me, is June 9th, I started my YouTube account. I've had YouTube for a long time, since like 2007, I think. I had little videos on there from four-wheeling and like family videos and some other stuff. Nothing really on there though. And then I just, June 9th was my first blacksmithing video. So it was my introduction video. I basically introduced myself. I'm sure a lot of you saw it. I talked about my plans in the future, moving to Hawaii in a couple of years, what's going to be done there. And I'll be in a point here soon. I mean, it's still a couple years out, but my page is going to shift. It's not going to focus so much on knife making and blacksmithing. It's going to shift more into building a shop, building a house, homesteading, setting up solar systems, water catchment, clearing land, planting coffee, planting cacao and vanilla beans, and buying sheep and chickens and stuff like that. So I know when that point comes, I may end up losing like a lot of the hardcore knife followers. Hopefully I don't, but we'll see when it happens. So just to wrap this up, because I know I've been talking like a lot already.
If you want to build your following on Instagram, you just got to put in the time. You got to put in the work. And doing the hashtag clicks really, I think, is the quickest way to get people's attention. Another thing too that I forgot to mention is when I went through hashtags, I wouldn't click on anything that had over 1,000 likes, and sometimes even less, because you have these really huge accounts that they have 50, 100,000 followers, whatever it is. If you like their post, they're not even going to see you. So when you first start out, you want to focus on smaller accounts. So accounts that have less than 500, maybe less than 1,000, you can set a limit somewhere in there. And that's kind of crucial, because if you like somebody's post that has 300 followers, most of the time they're going to be like, oh, I got a like from this guy, and then they go and check it out, and then they see your account, and then maybe they follow you. Now, I've gotten quite a few, like I said, knife makers, beginner knife makers that follow me, and I do try to follow people back as much as I can, but I typically only follow makers. I don't follow people that have, knife sales accounts that just repost pictures. I don't typically follow people that make knives, but then it's also their family account, and then they post pictures of their cat. I don't typically follow those people back. If you have a private account, I don't follow those accounts back. If you do too many selfies, I generally don't follow you back, just because I want to see knives and what people are making, what they're working on. I don't want to see, a selfie picture every other day. I try not to do that myself, because I see other people's accounts and it kind of makes me giggle. So, but just those kind of simple guidelines is what I've done to build my followers on Instagram. So, hopefully you guys are checking out this video. if you want to give me a subscribe, that would be awesome. If you want to give me a like, that would be awesome. I'm trying to build up my YouTube following now, because I think that'll be a lot bigger for me down the road once I start, building a house, building a shop, doing all that stuff in Hawaii. And that right now is like 2 years and 4 months out. Planning now, like January of 2021 is basically when I'm planning to move to Hawaii. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you stuck through this far, I really appreciate it. And if you, like I said, give me a like or subscribe, I would appreciate that more. You can contact me anytime through Instagram. My email's on my website. You can check out my website for some of the other stuff that's going on. You can see a gallery there of all the knives that I've made so far. And then Instagram is the best way to keep up with me day to day. So thank you again, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.